If you do not attempt to get into the property market, your wage will soon be absolutely distraught, where you'll be renting for the rest of your life.
Honestly, by the time you hear this, it's probably too late.
The reason why we're doing an investment episode based on the best performing properties in Australia is it's like getting Apple shares in 2000.
There's no real sign that says it's going to slow down.
If you're even looking at return on capital measures, it's actually outperformed things like Bitcoin.
That has like hugely volatile moments where it shoots up.
No wonder why we're hearing so many whispers and so many rumors about external American funds purchasing these lots, because you can't run the stock market at this rate.
It's just driving investors there, because why not?
We're talking about the best investment that you could have bought at the end of 2024. We're actually tracking the best investment properties across Australia. Let's get into the first tier.
And the first one is... Welcome to the Finance Show with Joe. He's Joe, I'm Michael. Today we're going to be talking about the best performing investment suburbs in all of Australia. But first, I just want to do a little quick catch up. What have you been up to?
As you know, Michael, I've got a newborn.
Oh, yes.
And he has taken up a lot of my time.
So what you've been up to is not sleeping.
We were already doing that prior to the child being born. What it is now is I'm not sleeping and my partner's not sleeping. Look, I'll be honest with you. The newborn has been fantastic. Having a little version of yourself and your wife tucked up in this little ball, and they're playful, they're joyful, they smile, they laugh at you. It is an indescribable feeling that I wish every single person in this world gets to experience once in their life. I know there's a lot of people out there that said that they don't want kids, and that is your prerogative. However, if you do want children, and you're aspiring to have a family one day, I will say the best is yet to come, and may God bless you. And if you are, struggling to have kids, you are in my prayers, and I hope that one day you'll be able to have children too.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about having kids, but I guess I'm not just there. I've got to get married first. So
yeah, so see, that's the old WOG household in Michael talking. He's got to get married and then kids. He and his girlfriend can live together for a period of time, but married and then kids.
Although when I did move in with Sarah for the very first time, my grandmother, who's like super Catholic, was like, I don't know, that's kind of sin. And I'm like, it's 2025, we're moving on from this.
Oh man, no, look, I do understand where they're coming from. No meat on Fridays, there's some other things that, it's 2025, guys, bacon is everywhere. What do you want me to do?
Bacon is everywhere. Well, there was that dude who had the bacon on his shoulders.
Man, I saw that, and that was absolutely stupid. But today, guys, we are talking about not bacon, making bacon. We're talking about the best investments that you could have bought at the end of 2024. We're actually tracking the best investment properties across Australia, or the best suburbs, the highest performing suburbs across Australia in 2025. The difference that we have done in this episode is we have actually segmented the best properties to buy at each particular price point. Yeah. So we've got up to $500,000. We've got up to $750,000. Do we?
Yes, up to $750,000 and then up to $1 million and above. Because honestly, when I was doing the research, I was going to split the $1 million and the 1.5, and it was just no difference.
Yeah,
so I just want to know $1 million and above.
So each particular price point has 3 suburbs.
Yes.
And we track the performance based on the capital gain, the rental yield, and the potential future growth that area is hopefully able to achieve over the next 12 months also. Yeah. Now, before we do go any further, guys, advice on this channel is general in nature.
Extremely general.
And should you need specific advice, please contact your personal broker, personal financial advisor. All
right.
Let's get into the first tier. So this is properties up to
500,000. And the first one is Rockingham, Western Australia. Western Australia is going to show up a few times, but Rockingham. So Medium house price there of $475,000.
That was last October.
That was last October, yes. 14.5% capital gains. The rent is $550 per week. That's a 5.6% yield. Now, this suburb, I don't know anything about Perth because I've never been there. So I looked into what this suburb is. It's a suburb by the beach, which is interesting. But it has a reputation of being rough, but it is undergoing gentrification.
Okay.
So it is not as rough as it used to be.
Okay.
So I'm told.
Okay. So this was specifically for the units in the area.
Yeah.
This wasn't for the houses in the area. And it's very contradictory to see because quite often when you are speaking to either buyers agents, investment professionals, or anyone that focuses in on property, they will tell you target units for rental yield and for the cash flow, or if you're looking for that accessibility or that amenity, but you don't often target it for capital gain. This has performed in every aspect of the market. So quick maths here, $475,000 last October. If that has increased by 14.5%, that means that it has gone up by roughly $70,250. So you're looking at a median dwelling price of about $547,000.
Yeah.
To go from $475,000 to $547,000 in the span of 12 months it's
pretty crazy.
It's remarkable. There's one particular thing I do want to highlight for our listeners out there. To be able to get into a property of $475,000, okay, you need at minimum a 10% deposit. I'm not going to go 20% deposits, all that sort of stuff, right? I'm just going to talk about a 10% deposit.
All right.
So you've put away $47,500 to be able to attain this property.
Yeah.
If you did make it an investment, there is stamp duty applicable.
Naturally.
It's going to be roughly $15,000 on a property of $475K. Okay. So your upfront costs have been $62,000. But with a rental yield of 5.6%, $550 per week, your mortgage at $430,000 with a 6% interest rate. What are your monthly repayments on that? It's going to be about $2,500, somewhere around there.
Which is pretty good.
So $550 per week rent, that means that you're out of pocket. So 550 times 4.33, you're roughly going to be receiving from the property about $2,400 a month. You're going to have to pay in mortgage repayments about $2,600 a month. So you're out of pocket $2,400 or $200 a month, otherwise $2,400 for the year.
Which is pretty damn good.
So $47,500 plus $2,400. Okay, so that's how much your outgoings are, which you can claim back negative gearing if you've got a really good accountant, just putting that out there. Okay, plus the $15,000 for stamp duty. So in 1 year's time, to be able to acquire this property, you have spent, let's call it about $65K, but your property has grown by about $72K. I'm not going to talk about return on investment because return on investment is ROI, how much are you constantly investing, what's your rate of return on revenue and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to talk about return on capital. Your initial capital injection is $62,000. And after 12 months' time, that has increased to $72K. So that means your return on capital is over 100% over the year, especially because you don't have to make that much in extra contributions towards your mortgage repayments. So this has performed exceptionally well. Yeah. You've essentially gone to the casino. Like, this is the best way. I've done the complex maths. But this is the best way to put it. You've gone to the casino and put $65,000 on a sure thing to double your money in 12 months' time. All you had to do was wait the 12 months.
Which is, that's worth it. Honestly.
So, like, you hear about these properties in Rockingham and WA and stuff. No wonder why they've gone up in value. Because this is the thing about value and properties and the perceived value and everything. Once one person finds out this is a good investment area, everyone finds out.
Yeah, honestly, by the time you hear this, it's probably too late. No, do your research.
No. Stop that, because apparently this one's going to still go up in value. So the projection for this area by FY26 is for each median unit, the median unit value to be around $600,000. which is another 10% increase. So that means you have increased your return on capital by about 180, 190%, and you've got an investment paying itself off.
Yeah.
You have increased your savings, your equity, your retirement fund, everything.
I mean, it's barely even a risk with after all this math.
Well,
But
it
honestly,
is. No. It is still a risk.
It's obviously still, all of this is still a risk because you're investing. And the thing is, we're even seeing like similar things in Gosnells as well. I think it's partly our next suburb, by the way.
Oh, so suburb number 2. Sorry, I was harping on for suburb number 1, but suburb number 2 is Gosnells.
Also in Western Australia.
Tell me about that property.
Median price $490,000.
Okay.
212.4% capital gains.
I'll get the quick maths on that in a second.
Yeah. $578 per week in rent. That's a 6.2% yield. That's crazy. So, and this is another place that is rough and is going up in value. I have heard that Gosnells is a very weird suburb. It's kind of crackhead central. That's what I've heard. But it's incredibly affordable, and hence why like anyone, it's just driving investors there because why not? It's affordable. $490,000.
That is extremely cheap. I'm going to give you the quick maths now. Okay, so if you bought a property last year for $490,000, that property is now worth just under. Okay, it's now worth $599,800 12 months later. So return on capital for that, let's say $49,000 injection, 15% stamp duty, whatever it's going to be, $15K, so $64,000. And then in a year's time, your property is worth $110,000 more. That's a 200 and no, it's just under 200. It's 64,000 is your initial rate capital injection. That means your return on capital is 190%. So, like, if you this is the thing. Like, you hear about these suburbs. So this is Gosnells, WA.
Yeah.
The rental yield 6.2%, so that's more than covering your mortgage as well.
100%, yeah.
The agents are raving about this because the infrastructure, the population growth, the interest rates are, the interest rates dropping are driving the growth even further. No wonder why we're hearing so many whispers and so many rumors about external American funds investing in property in Australia and purchasing these lots because you can't run the stock market at this rate.
No, when I was doing the research, when I found 212% capital gains, I was like, that can't be right. This has got to be an error. But no,
that is fuck me.
Yeah, like it must have gone from literally rock bottom and it's just going up just purely because of affordability, slashed interest rates, all that kind of stuff.
Do you see a mass migration continuing to WA? Because we've seen it in the sense of the data has shown a lot of people are moving to WA. I don't know anyone personally that has.
No,
I've got one client that has done it.
Okay.
In the last 12 months. But 1 out of 300, that's a 0.3% rate.
Yeah.
Do you have any friends that are moving out that way?
Not a single person. I do know people investing there, but I don't know anyone moving there. That's it.
Do you think it's migration? No, we're not going to get into that on this one. Okay. The next suburb for the $500,000 bracket.
The last one. It's Elizabeth North in South Australia. Another median unit price of $490,000. 16.7% capital growth in the last 12 months. $450 a week in rent. 5.1% yield. So not as good as Gosnells just on paper. But obviously, this is still a great investment.
Okay, so let's have a look at the quick maths here. So that's going to be about 60. So let's say the property's gone up by 64K. The median price is now 554,000. So your return on capital is going to be, yet again, upwards of 140%.
Yeah.
$450 a week rental yield, 5.1%. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's not as good as Gosnells, but it's pretty good.
So this is why I was ranked number 3.
Yeah.
So are we seeing a continuous trend of properties in WA outperforming just the rest of the market?
You're actually going to be surprised as we go on. Don't get me wrong, WA still shows up a lot of the time because it's been doing well for at least a year now, maybe 2.
2 years.
Yeah. And I think that's going to continue. I don't think the numbers will be as crazy. I'm also not a professional, so take this all with a grain of salt. But I think this is we're not quite at the plateau yet, but we're nearing it.
Okay, so another question is going to be, we're starting to see a flow-on effect. So are people choosing to go to South Australia more than they're choosing to go to WA? And I would like to actually hear from other people in the comments. Are we seeing more advice leaning towards South Australia? Is South Australia becoming more affordable because WA is becoming less affordable?
I'm not sure which way it goes, but the data does suggest that in 2025, South Australia is the best performing state as it in terms of investment in property and stuff like that.
The city of churches, Adelaide.
Yeah. Sorry, that took me a goddamn second to figure out what you were saying. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a little closer to Melbourne and stuff. So maybe if you're from Melbourne and you got family there, going to Adelaide is like not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. It's a shorter drive than Sydney.
I love this data. I love being able to see the affordability. I'm going to talk from the broker's point of view right now.
Yeah,
okay?
Go for it.
To be able to afford an investment property for about $490K, your salary, and if your rental income is about $450 a week, your salary needs to be about $75,000 to $80,000.
Round about the median.
Correct. No, the median's higher than that, but let's not get into that.
I thought the median was 75.
No, the median salary now.
Yeah.
No, median full-time salary is $99,000 for females and $109,000 for males.
Is that the median?
That's the median.
Hang on.
This is for adults, by the way. I'm talking about full-time salaries.
That makes sense.
Okay, perfect.
88.
We're still not at 99.
The average is 104.
There we go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm like, I looked these numbers up before because I had a panic attack when I saw the average, not knowing how averages work.
Joseph was right again.
Joseph was half right.
So a lot of people might be wondering why we're doing an episode dedicated towards investment properties and how much they've grown in value. The reason why is property has outpaced cash. By triple.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not even like
it's not even remotely close.
It's not even remotely close.
If you're even looking at return on capital measures, it's actually outperformed things like Bitcoin.
That's crazy because obviously Bitcoin has like hugely volatile moments where it shoots up. Yeah,
it's okay. So let me explain. To buy Bitcoin is 160,000 Australian dollars roughly right now. Okay.
Yeah.
When you purchase a Bitcoin. Number one, you can't borrow from the bank to buy Bitcoin unless you've got I'm not even going to get into it. Don't go to those brokers. But the other thing is...
do brokers recommend Bitcoin?
Don't, man. You're going to get me cancelled again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but let me somewhat explain this to you. So once you own a Bitcoin, you're not getting a rental return. You're actually not getting any tax benefits from it. And if Bitcoin goes up 20% and you own one Bitcoin, that means your 160,000 turns into, it's gone up 20%. It's gone up to 192,000, right?
Right.
So you've had to invest 160,000 to make that $32,000 back. Not the same with property, because property, you need a 10% deposit. You're borrowing the rest from the bank. You're getting all these tax exemptions as an investor.
To make things easier.
And then you are actually being rewarded on the sale price, because the sale price doesn't actually go to the bank like the remaining sale price, unless, of course, you make a loss. But you actually can declare that as a profit. So essentially, you are providing $70,000 to make $70,000 if the property goes up by 70K, for instance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your return on capital is far outpacing. The reason why we're doing an investment episode or an episode based on the best performing properties in Australia is if you want to be able to buy a property in Sydney, New South Wales, eventually, you're not going to get there by saving.
No.
Unless you're in a very, very high income job, you're actually going to get the best way to get there is through property, because the property that you purchase, limited supply, that property goes up by 300%. Okay. And all of a sudden you sell that property and you are then able to draw down, let's say 160K. You can then use that 160K to maybe purchase a $1.6 million property in New South Wales or Sydney, New South Wales. And that is the point of this episode. But I think it is very important for people to understand that. And here are 3 suburbs where I know we have assisted in funding
Yeah.
Okay. With clients, okay, that have purchased in WA, purchased in South Australia, that have made this money, and now they are able to purchase in New South Wales, purchase the property of their dreams. In saying that, you know, you can go the full other route and say, I want to rent invest, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I am just saying this is what property is used for in these regional states and these regional suburbs.
Yeah.
Okay. This is how you can climb into the market. This is how you can build up for your retirement. This is actually how you just become wealthy.
Yeah, and this is just one strategy. There are others, but you know, obviously, we don't have time to get into all that shit today.
Best suburbs to invest in for $750K.
All right, first up, we're back in South Australia, Salisbury East. This is in Adelaide's northeast, which is a little confusing. That's a median price of $705,000, median rent $580 a week. The 12-month growth is 16.5%.
Jesus.
Adelaide is the top performer in 2025 thanks to a very tight supply and fast leasing, often less than 3 weeks. So it's doing pretty well. Specifically, investor activity in South Australia is just doing great. This is double-digit suburb gains, which is above city yields in any of the affordable bands, which is pretty crazy.
So 70K deposit, okay, 16.5% growth. Okay, what's 16.5% of that? That's going to be 42,000 plus 70K. So your $705,000 property is now worth $820K a year later.
That's actually insane.
Like when you actually think about that.
So just fill me in on this, just because if I'm not clear, maybe someone else isn't. I bought this for $705,000.
Yeah.
It's now $820. Did you say?
Yeah, roughly $820K.
Okay, let's just say $820 for the sake of argument. I sell. After that, how much of that do I get? Because I know there's capital gains and then there's all that sort of stuff. So how does this work?
So let's take out 2% of your sale price, agents fees, commissions, marketing.
Okay.
So you're losing 16K automatically because somebody that.
Yeah, the agents.
Yeah, the agents are going to charge you an arm and a leg for that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So automatically you got 16,400. That's gone. Then the remainder of it is you pay tax not on the sales price, but the profit made from the sale.
So the capital gains, right?
So the capital gains. So let's say you sell for $820,000. You purchase for $700,000. There's still a deduction from there. The interest repayments that you made in the last year, you can also deduct those from your capital gains and any improvements that you've made in the last 12 months as well.
So you don't quite get $120,000, but you get like 100, maybe less.
So let's go from the base rate. Capital gains tax is at 30% at the moment.
Okay.
Rough ballpark. 30% of $120,000 is going to be $36,000. So 120 minus $36,000 is going to be $84,000.
Okay.
That is how much theoretically you are going to end up with in your back pocket.
Okay.
Now, $84,000. What can that buy you across New South Wales? Well, a number of properties if you use it as a 10% deposit.
Yeah. Or 20% on an apartment somewhere that's around 800,000, something like that.
No, 84,000.
Not quite there.
No. That's not a 20% deposit. That's a 20% deposit on 400,000.
No, you're right.
Yes, I am right.
I can't math. This is why I'm in marketing.
And this is why I'm the numbers guy.
He's exactly right.
But in saying that, you do get your deposit back. So how much is in your hand at the end of it? It's also your deposit. So let's say you put in $70,000 for your deposit. Okay. So that 70K returns to you plus an $84,000 profit, $154,000. You might be able to get an apartment for $750K somewhere in Sydney. My rule of thumb, Tom Panos's rule of thumb, who's a fantastic buyer's agent, and a number of people out there, they often say for your owner-occupied property, you should not have more than $800,000 in debt. And the reason for that is $800,000 in debt with interest rates at about 5.5%, 6.5%. You're paying roughly $5,500 in principal and interest repayments post-tax income.
Yeah, okay.
So let's say, for instance, you're earning $100K a year. Okay. After tax, that's going to be what, 78? Okay. 78, spread that across 12 months. That's going to be about $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
Imagine $5,500 of that goes towards principal and interest repayments on your mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm living that reality.
But you see,
I totally get it. Yeah.
But, like, at least you have your family around you
Yeah,
who
no,
are
it's not
also
just me.
contributing
Yeah.
towards the home loan repayments and everything.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that.
No. Far from it.
So you really have to speak with a broker prior to making that sort of decision. Okay, but that is the reason why a lot of people say, hey, maybe look at rent vesting because that's not living beyond your means. I never used to agree with rent vesting, and you know this.
I remember we've had several conversations about this.
But property has gone up so much in price that it is looking as, like, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you're like,
Like, bro,
what else am I supposed to do?
Why am I spending so much on my mortgage when I could just go rent something that I like in Sydney? Now, the issues with that is maybe they want to cancel the lease, they want to move back in. I'm at the, landlord's discretion. What am I looking for?
Whim, back and call. You're his bitch. If you want to put it that way.
I don't want to be someone's bitch.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the reason why I wouldn't rent invest. But then I also understand other people. Hey, maybe I don't want to spend $5,500 a month just to pay off my home. That's not tax deductible interest. That's not something.
It's just stuff you have to pay. Yeah.
It's just stuff that you have to pay. That's adding to your bill. So business owner me, transaction me, tax me, mortgage me, everything is saying, hey, maybe rent vesting is a good idea. Lebanese ingrained. Own your house, bro.
It's true, yeah.
And I think a lot of cultures are like that.
Yeah.
But in saying that, that was a great question that you asked. How much is going to end up in my back pocket after capital gains tax, after everything? You might end up with $150K.
Okay.
On our next property, that's $765,000 to $775,000 for Moreton Bay. So that's Murrayfield, Queensland. That's in the Moreton Bay area.
Yeah.
I actually know that area quite well.
I do not.
Okay. So 12.5% year-on-year growth. The houses in Brisbane that are $1 million plus have pushed people towards this area.
Yeah.
Which has lifted the prices significantly. I'm not going to do the quick maths on this one. I can if you want me to, but I think I've done enough this
No, I think everyone's got the gist. Let's get them the hard facts.
And the next one is Morley. So the median price is $820,000.
So 854, yeah.
The rental yield, rental income per week is $700, and then 18% year-on-year growth. You tell me the reasons why.
Well, I mean, it's just the affordable mid-price stuff is just going nuts because that's what people can afford. There's only so many people with fat stacks, so to speak.
So what happens when these people, like the way that I'm looking at it outside looking in, it seems like Sydney has kind of turned itself into this like crystal ball that only the ultra wealthy can enter into.
Well, I guess it's kind of like LA and New York, right? Like they're super expensive depending on which part. Well, New York specifically, like Manhattan Island, like you're paying a ridiculous amount for
Sydney
anything.
as a city, Sydney CBD as a city, stretching out all the way to Penrith.
I know
is a lot bigger than Manhattan Island. I will tell you that.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but like they do stuff like that, right? And I guess once it falls, like once you get to that point where no one can really, like newer people can't afford to get in, that's when the bubble pops, right? Is that not what just happens?
It is, and this is the issue, and we always bring it up. They're not allowing any more high rises, and we're also, so this is a neat statistic I found recently. Our good friend Emmanuel from InvestorMate posted this one. New South Wales is 30,000 properties short of its target for 2025.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it week after week. Like,
but we're making the bubble worse. Like me, naked eye investor, am I looking at Perth or am I looking at New South Wales as where I can go dump some money and think to myself, what's going to grow faster? And I always say, check with your broker, borrowing capacity, rental incomes, all that sort of stuff. But I think this is something heavy I need to consider.
Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the suburbs that are $1 million and above, because that's the fun section. Also,
this section was so fun, I almost peed myself.
Almost. Also, I have a question about this. Is it really, like, investing $1 million and above, is that worth it? I guess it would depend on like what kind of money you make, right?
It really depends on what you're looking for, what you're seeking from your property. Often when I look at properties that are $1 million and above to invest in, you're looking at land development construction.
That makes more sense, right?
It does. And then on the other side of it, so like I'm going to look at the properties that are here.
Go for it.
Okay, so we've got one in WA, one in Queensland, and one in South Australia. So they're spread.
Yep.
We don't even have a suburb from New South Wales on this list.
No, or Victoria. None of them are shown up.
But what if you're looking to invest upwards of $1 million? It is usually for the sake of I'm planning to live in that property later on,
That's kind of what I thought.
and I'm hoping the rental income can pay off a large portion of the mortgage
By the time you get
within the first 5 years. By the time I get in. Or you are expecting some serious capital growth in that location that not many people can foresee. So, Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Auburn, great location to choose from. The owner-occupied properties there 2 years ago were worth about $1 million. Now they're worth about 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 even.
I can't believe that's happened in Auburn. Also, just in and around the train station, all the massive apartment buildings there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Auburn as a kid.
It wasn't flash.
Yeah, you didn't really want to.
Well, it still isn't flash, but
But the value in the property is worth a lot.
So let me give you a return on capital example. Okay, so let's say I bought a property, Mount Druitt.
Yep.
Let's go with Mount Druitt. Start with
classic.
that. Okay, so Mount Druitt, start of 2020, end of 2019, you could have bought a property in one of those locations for about $500,000 to $600,000. I'm talking a house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freestanding.
Freestanding house. Let's say I use a 10% deposit, $50,000.
Yep.
That property is now worth median value $1.1, $1.2 million. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
So my initial return, or my initial capital investment was $50,000 plus stamp duty. So 70 grand. If I was to sell that property tomorrow, or my return on capital is $700,000. So I have actually 10x'd my initial capital investment.
It's actually crazy.
And then when you think about rental yield and everything and the cost of my mortgage, because that is a suburb that a lot of people rent in.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the reason why people would choose to invest in a place where investments are $1 million plus. So if I take a similar property that was $1 million when I first purchased it, put $100,000 in for my initial capital injection, good rental yield, let's say, for example, negative gearing, all that sort of stuff. I'm not even considering that. But then I sold it 2 or 3 years later for $2 million, which we are seeing all over the place now. This is not something out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Initial capital injection was $100,000. Return on capital is $1 million.
Yeah, okay.
So the reason why people invest in properties that are upwards of $1 million is either for land development improvements, they see something in the area, infrastructure projects, and they expect a massive spike, or they are able to take a higher risk and expect a higher return on capital.
Okay.
Because sometimes areas don't grow by that much.
No, and usually, that's true. Well, our first suburb is Scarborough in Perth's north coast.
Scarborough.
$1.28 million median house price. The rent is $910 to $950 a week. That's for houses, not units. The capital gains is anywhere from 8.3 to 12.7%, depending on your source. But let's just say like a firm 10%.
Okay.
So this is actually like a nice beachy cafe style suburb, and it's getting both owner-occupiers and investors involved.
That example right there is the perfect example of what I was just talking about. You've got enough money that's going to be covering off your mortgage plus the negative gear and da-da-da-da-da.
Yep.
Okay. And then $1.28 million. If it's gone up by 10%, you've put $128,000 in and you're receiving $128,000 back. The thing about these types of properties is you're not spreading your risk and, let's say, buying 2 apartments in one location, because that's also double the stamp duty cost.
Yes.
Okay, because you're buying and you have to pay stamp duty twice. Stamp duty is not something that you can claim back. It's just a transaction. So that is the reason why people would look at suburbs like this, and also they're more desirable suburbs.
Yeah.
So let's say you go put a CDC or you do a development approval or something like that. Logs. Okay, let's say I bought a $1.28 million property and I went and got a development application done on it.
Yeah.
And I sell it with a set of plans. Just by putting the development application and taking the time and all those things, I might be able to sell that property for even more. Even more. And then that way, because I've made those improvements, The builder that's coming in, they're going to make their profit because they're going to sell 2 dwellings for, $1.28 million. I'm going to make my profit because I spent the time with the architect, with everything getting approved. So that's the reason why people also look at these properties. Anyways, property number 2, Carina.
Queensland, Inner East Brisbane.
So $1.265 million, and it has grown by 10% year on year. So it's done multiple times. And then we've also got, last but not least, Prospect in South Australia, which has a median house price, had a median house price of 1.28 million and a capital gain of 14.3%.
It seems like the cap on a good investment right now seems to be 1.28 million. Anything above that, you're like, all right, maybe I should consider living in this.
But like, you're going to ask me a question soon of, is property still a good thing to purchase, or is it still worth investing in property in Australia? The answer is yes. And the reason I say this is we are living in a country that rewards you through tax concessions by owning an investment property, especially if you're self-employed. Okay? If you are self-employed and you are investing in property, you are essentially putting money away, reducing your tax, any money that you're going to spend on tax, you may as well put it in a property that's going to grow in value. Yeah. You're being rewarded for owning business, and essentially the government's saying, here, there's a property that's going to grow in value. It's like getting Apple shares in 2000.
Yeah, right.
It's growing at an exponential rate that is indescribable to people outside of Australia. And the reason why is because they have governments that actually build properties. Like, we're in a massive housing shortage and we've got a lot of people moving to Australia. We saw the riots the other week. Stop letting migration in and all this kind of stuff. I think you and I even argued about it. We didn't argue, but we discussed it on a podcast. And I was there in the middle and I'm like, hey, just approve more dwellings.
Yeah.
That's it. But is it a good idea to still purchase in Australia? It looks like at every single price point, we've given you 9 properties, 9 different price points, 9 different markets, 9 different suburbs, 3 different states. We didn't include anything from New South Wales or Melbourne, which we know still grow.
Yeah.
Okay? And Tasmania, but who cares?
That's the thing. Even the stuff that we left off the list
is still growing.
It's still growing, exactly.
It's still growing at a rapid rate. So my answer to myself...
My gift from me to me.
My gift from me to me is property is still a good investment in Australia.
Yeah.
You need to speak with a good broker. And you need to understand your borrowing capabilities, because if you don't get into the market soon, and I am creating that FOMO element as someone who owns multiple properties, and I've never said that on this podcast, as someone who pays principal and interest repayments, who tries to be an ethical landlord in the sense that my tenants contact me and they go, we need fly screens to be put in and we also want these things to be repaired. And I say automatically, without hesitation, yes. Why? Because these are also people trying to make it in this world. Yeah. With all of those things in consideration, I am saying to you now, if you do not attempt, and I'm using the word attempt to get into the property market, your wage will soon be absolutely distraught, where you will be renting for the rest of your life and you will be at a disadvantage. You're doing yourself a disservice by not trying. Massive disservice, but you will also be at the landlord's will. Yeah. Fuck. We've got to find that word.
Prerogative.
Man, we're going too far left of field.
But yeah, no, you don't get a say in your own house and all that sort of stuff. Honestly, like, there are exceptions to that rule. You might have a really good relationship with your landlord and all that sort of stuff, but you can never say. Like, you don't know. Just
try and get into the market. Speak to a professional who works in that market. Do some research. People say it's too hard. The people that I often hear say it's too hard are people that have never gotten on the phone with a broker. They're also people that have never gone on realestate.com.au after they've gotten on the phone with a broker and seen what they can afford. They've also never just gone on realestate.com.au and seen how houses or units perform in those locations. Yeah. They're people that just say, it's too hard to throw their heads in the air.
Smash it out. All right. rapid fire questions. Joey, number one, what is the 6-year rule for investment properties?
So the 6-year rule for investment properties is when a property has previously been your main residence, and then afterwards you elect to make it an investment property or to receive investment income from that property. The 6-year rule is how long a property cannot be your main residence prior to the government treating it as a main residence when it comes time for taxes when you are going to sell that property. So let's say, for instance, I've lived in my property for 12 months' time. I then turn it into an investment. And then in 6 years' time, I choose to sell the property. I won't be charged a capital gains tax because that was my previous place of residency.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, next.
That is good.
That is good. Is it worth investing in property anymore?
Yes.
We kind of answered that, yeah. All right, should I buy a house now or wait until 2026?
Get into the market.
Yeah.
Just get into the fucking market.
Just do it.
Yeah.
How do I avoid capital gains tax on an investment property?
I am not a dodgy accountant. I refuse to answer that question.
All right, what is a good rate of return on a rental property?
It really depends on what you're looking for, but you're speaking to a lot of buyers agents, they're often looking for about 2.5 to 3.5% rental yield. Anything above that tells them quite often. I know we've had properties listed in this segment that were outliers, but 2.5 to 3.5%. Why? Because that means that there isn't an oversupply in the market, and at the exact same time, it also means that the properties have a more condition to capital gain, which is why most people invest in property in Australia.
Okay. Well, that's all we have time for today. It's been a long one, but it's been a good one. I feel like I've learnt a lot.
Guys, if you ever need any help with your mortgage or your property inquiries or anything along the lines of that, you can visit us at www.itsimple.com.au. If you are looking to invest in property, we also have a panel of buyers agents that we work with, and we can refer you several in the market that specialize in each particular location. For anything else,
There's MasterCard.
I've been Joe.
I've been Michael.
And we'll see you on the next episode of The Finance Show with Joe.